The surface temperatures of the Mediterranean Sea are hot. This summer, persistent high pressure and temperatures have contributed towards making the Mediterranean Sea reach above average temperatures, particularly in the western part of the basin. Around Spain's Balearic Islands and off the coast of southern France, temperatures of up to 30 degrees have been recorded in the water this summer, making it akin to a big bowl of soup. Such positive anomalies may sound attractive for swimmers and leisure seekers, but with September on the horizon, meteorologists are concerned. Why? Well, in autumn, when the weather in the western Mediterranean starts to become less stable, such warm waters are like gasoline for tropical-like storms, which can be more severe and damaging as a result. These Mediterranean storms are often referred to as medicanes, which is a portmanteau of Mediterranean hurricanes. These storms, which are common in September, October, and to a lesser extent, November, can be ferocious, destructive, and deadly. The reason they are referred to as hurricanes is because they display similar patterns to the hurricanes with which we are familiar. In reality, they are tropical-like cyclones, which do not tend to reach the severity of larger hurricanes, which are fueled by the tropical waters of more southerly latitudes. That said, some medicanes have been observed that reach the strength of a Category 1 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale, which is the lowest strength category, with sustained winds of up to 150 kilometers per hour. And on one rare occasion, a cyclone reaching Category 2 levels was recorded in the eastern Mediterranean on September 17 and 18, 2020. This cyclone, which was named medicane Ionos, developed from an area of low pressure over the Gulf of Sidra. Due to the extremely warm water, a process known as tropical cyclogenesis quickly began, making the cyclone destructively severe. Tropical cyclogenesis can only occur when sea surface temperatures are above 26 degrees Celsius. But other factors are also important, such as atmospheric instability and high levels of humidity in the troposphere. And on September 17 and 18, 2020, all such factors were in place in the eastern Mediterranean, and as a consequence, the islands of Malta and Crete were battered with heavy rain and hurricane-like winds. The destruction amounted to $100 million. For many, the Mediterranean is synonymous with dry, sunny, and stable weather, particularly in the summer months. For this reason, many are often surprised to learn about the phenomenon of medicanes, which present more tropical characteristics than those that we typically associate with the dry Mediterranean climate. However, the transition from summer to autumn is complicated in the Mediterranean region, particularly in the central and western half of the basin, which tends to be more prone to medicanes, making medicane Ionos, which struck the eastern half of the basin, all the more surprising. The reason medicanes tend to form over the central and western half of the Mediterranean is not because the meteorological conditions are less favourable for their formation in the eastern Mediterranean. On the contrary, the warm surface waters and high levels of humidity in the eastern Mediterranean are ideal for tropical cyclogenesis. Rather, the reason medicanes tend not to form as frequently in the Adriatic and Aegean seas is because the area is bordered by more land, which prevents storms from feeding off the warm waters they need to become medicanes. Throughout the 20th century, various medicanes were identified, one of the most potent of which struck the Balearic Islands on October 7, 1996. As explained, sea surface temperatures are significantly higher than average in the western Mediterranean this year. For this reason, experts are concerned that, should the right conditions arise, the warmer than average temperatures may fuel the formation of a significantly large and destructive medicane. However, warm waters alone do not produce medicanes. Rather, several other factors must also be in place. Generally, a severe storm can develop in the late summer and early autumn due to the arrival of Atlantic depressions from the west. This becomes increasingly likely as southern Europe enters the autumn period when the Azores high begins to retreat, allowing Atlantic depressions to sweep further southwards. And when such depressions do arrive, they can develop into tropical-like storms due to the tropical temperatures of the Mediterranean in the late summer period. Therefore, to determine whether a medicane is possible this year, we have to look at the current medium-term weather models to analyse current trends. However, such models provide a general picture only, and they cannot be fully relied on due to the innumerable amount of variables that affect the weather in the medium to long term, particularly in a season as unpredictable as autumn. That said, if we look at the current data of the ECMWF, that is, the European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecasts, we can try to discern the likelihood of a medicane arising in the Mediterranean this autumn. To begin the month of September, the ECMWF is predicting below average levels of precipitation for much of the Mediterranean region, with only Catalonia and southern France showing positive precipitation anomalies. Consequently, it seems high pressure will remain relatively dominant as we enter the month of September. However, between September 5 and 11, this changes somewhat, with only the eastern Mediterranean showing negative precipitation anomalies. Some parts of Western Europe, such as coastal Portugal and northwestern Spain, begin to show positive precipitation anomalies, which may be a sign that high pressure begins to lose sway, allowing Atlantic depressions to enter from the west. That said, we cannot predict for certain whether a sufficiently large Atlantic depression will sweep in from the west and hit those extremely high temperature waters of the Mediterranean. But it is at least a sign that things may well start to break down, at least for a while, as we enter the second week of the month. Heading into the third week of the month, there are again signs of stabilization, with negative precipitation anomalies in southwestern Spain, such as Andalusia, and no precipitation anomalies in the rest of the Mediterranean, where precipitation levels are therefore expected to be close to the seasonal average. To conclude, as it currently stands, it seems that the second week of September will be the one most conducive to developing a medicane. And even if a medicane does not form, severe, erratic and damaging storms will likely develop over the eastern coast of Spain, such as in Murcia and Alicante, throughout the Balearic Islands, extending across to the central Mediterranean area. Out to the east, away from those Atlantic depressions, the transition from summer to autumn is likely to be much less tempestuous. So as we leave August behind and enter meteorological autumn, we will have to pay close attention to the Atlantic, in the hope that any depressions it has in store will stay clear of the Mediterranean Sea in the early autumn period, allowing the temperature of the water to drop gradually to more normal levels. That's all for today and this week. Are you heading to the Mediterranean this autumn? If so, share your thoughts in the comment section below on the likelihood of a medicane or something like it in the region. And if you happen to be caught in any storms in the Mediterranean area and you've caught it on camera, you can send the video to the email that's on the screen and your video may just be featured on our channel. If you enjoy videos like this one, remember to subscribe to the Euromed channel today so you can be ready for Europe's weather tomorrow.